Hey everybody, if you're one of my regular viewers, you know that I'm just doing like 5 soundtracks in a row. This is number 2 of 5. Um, when I do these soundtracks, some of these soundtracks belong to some of my all-time favorite movies. Some of the movies I think are some of the greatest movies ever made. Some of the soundtracks belong to just cheap throwaway movies. The last one I did, Howard Stern Private Parts, throwaway movie as far as I'm concerned. Fun movie, but a throwaway movie. This one, on the other hand, this is one of the greatest movies ever made. Reservoir Dogs. Let's start with the fact that this movie is basically a bottleneck movie. Okay, the whole entire movie basically takes place in one scene or in one set. You know, there's a couple scenes. You got the little kitchen sequence or the restaurant sequence at the beginning of the movie to introduce you to all the characters. And then you've got the couple little spots where you see the different gangsters as they're kind of getting folded into the group. Mr. White, Mr. Orange, those two specifically. You see a lot of their scenes from before the heist and outside of, and Mr. Blonde. Then outside of that, everything takes place in the one building, empty, vacated building that they're all supposed to meet in. Even at the beginning, when they're showing the planning the heist stuff like that, that's all in there as well. So it's really, really awesome that way. It keeps the budget down low, which is really cool, et cetera, et cetera. But just the conversation, Quentin's got a way of writing dialogue and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that's awesome about this soundtrack. Not only does it have great music, and Quentin's got some great taste in music. Not only does it have great music, but it also has great dialogue excerpts. And this was the first CD I ever owned that had excerpts from a movie for dialogue as well as the music. And, for back then, a lot of people would complain, oh, I don't want to hear the excerpts from the movie. I just want to hear the music, blah, blah, blah. For me, it's like, hell yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so let's get into this. Now, I am going to apologize here because I don't believe I have the details for everything, but let's see what we got here. Okay. So not all the excerpts on here, but a lot of the excerpts on here are radio excerpts. So dialogue actually spoken by Stephen Wright as a radio DJ that was done specifically for the movie. And some of them were just as little as saying, and now little green bag or what, stuff like that, just announcing what the song is and then it goes right into the song or whatever. And that's what opens this up, a little bit. You go, and now a little green bag. I think there's a little bit right before. I think he says the radio station name and whatnot. Then it goes, and now a little green bag. And then it goes into the song, Little Green Bag, performed by the George Baker Selection. I don't know anything about the George Baker Selection, but I really enjoyed the song Little Green Bag, man. I thought that this is the first time every song on this album, except for one. There was only one song on this album I knew when I first listened to this album. Then we go into Rock Flock 5, which is dialogue again, and then you got Hooked on a Feeling. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. And the whole thing, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. Okay, so thanks to Guardians of the Galaxy, and even before Guardians of the Galaxy, I remember Ally McBeal used it. The ooga chaka baby. I remember that really kind of popped it up, but it was Reservoir Dogs that introduced me to the song. I'd never heard it that I recall before this. I really enjoy Hooked on a Feeling. I think it's a great tune. Next track, dialogue track called Behemoth, talking about... and Hooked on a Feeling is performed by Blue Suede, for those that need it. Behemoth is another dialogue bit, talking about a monster truck performance. Then you got Joe Tex doing, Gotcha, Oh, you know I'm gonna get you now. Good tune. Another song, never had heard before this. Really, really enjoy it. Okay, next track. This was interesting because when I picked this up, I I was very impressed by this cover. It's Magic Carpet Ride by Bedlam. I don't know if they couldn't get their hands on the Steppenwolf version, so they had to get someone else's or whatnot. But this cover is a really good cover. I really, really enjoy it. Like, it's even got that great distortion bit at the beginning that you have to have on it and whatnot. It just really works. All right, and then you get into one of the greatest movie scenes of all time. It's the Madonna speech, which is when you've got Quentin going on about what Madonna's Like a Virgin is really about. And it is, to this day, it is one of my favorite movie dialogue bits ever. Just listening to Quentin go on and on and on and on about how Madonna's True Blue is all about this one thing, but Like a Virgin is all about, this girl that gets, this big jumbo ass porn size woohoo, and it hurts, man. It hurts. She feel pain like she never felt before. Hence, Like a Virgin. Then that goes into Fool for Love, performed by Sandy Rogers. Good, fun kind of country tune. Not as country's tune that I'm into so much, but if you're into country, Fool for Love is a really good tune. I may have even, thanks to my mom, I may have even heard this one before that in the car radio as a kid, and I just don't remember that well, but really good tune. Then you got the Super Sounds dialogue, and that goes into the most famous song on the soundtrack after this movie got released, which became one of the greatest scenes ever in a movie. Stuck in the Middle with You, Mr. Blonde going off on the police officer in that scene. It just shows what a true psychopath Mr. Blonde is. That scene is the greatest bit of character storytelling without having to say a word, basically. Like, so minimal said in that. Just getting to see that scene where he goes on, oh, so brilliant. Then you got Harvest Moon, also performed by Bedlam. Once again, I'm assuming they couldn't get their hands on the original version of Harvest Moon, so they got another band's version of it, went out and found a band that was willing to record it for them and did it that way. That's how so many soundtrack albums, especially like through the 70s, 80s, 90s, stuff like that, when they wanted songs and they couldn't get it from the original artist, the best workaround to do was you had a band cover it. It doesn't matter which band. You just go out, you get a band to cover it, and you pay for that band to have the rights to use that song, and then you use that band's version of the song to put it in your soundtrack. It was the same trick they used to use for commercials back then, too. My favorite would be Burger King used to have one where they used Double Vision from Foreigner, but they couldn't get the rights to the Foreigner song, so they had someone else record it. Weirdly, it didn't even sound quite as good as the Foreigner version, and then, just went from there. But anyways, so that's a trick they use in movies to get around that. That's why you get a lot of covers out there. Honestly, that is how you get so many different covers out there. Then you got the Let's Get a Taco dialogue bit, followed by the Keep on Truckin' dialogue bit. And then that goes into Coconut, performed by Harry Nilsson, as in, you put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both up, you put the lime in the... All right, so prior to this, I had never heard the song before. This was actually the first time I'd ever heard the song that I remember. I'm sure I heard it before because I'm positive it was on The Muppet Show. So I guarantee I probably heard it before. But this is the first time I remembered hearing it and remembering it as an adult. And it's such a good, fun song. Oh my God, such a good song. And then you've got the very last dialogue track, which is Home of Rock. I will never stop gushing about this soundtrack. I will never stop saying that people should own this soundtrack. This is one of the most fun soundtracks I have ever listened to, with some of the greatest music on it. Just fantastic. And like I said, one of my all-time favorite movies. This one, Pulp Fiction, which will be the next soundtrack review. Train Spotting, The Wall. Most of my favorite movies have really cherry soundtracks. You know, The Wall doesn't really count in this case, but anyways, I'm not even saying that those are my all-time favorite movies. I am saying that Reservoir Dogs is definitely on my all-time favorite, like top 5 movie list. And I am definitely saying that Train Spotting is on my all-time top 5 movie list. The others I mentioned, maybe not. Top 10, maybe. Anyways, folks, let me know what you think down below. What do you think of the soundtrack? What do you think of the songs on here? What is your favorite Quentin soundtrack? What is your favorite Tarantino movie? Let me know down below. That's what the comment section is for. Let's have a conversation on that. While you're down there, there's also a like button, a subscribe button, bell for notifications. If you could hit those for me, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, folks, check out a couple links that there is as well. Peace, love, take care.